Welcome back to my refresher reviews of the first chapter of the War for Cybertron trilogy. Today, we're taking a look at Siege Episode 4. We begin this episode with Megatron murdering Ultra Magnus, after he takes him to what is basically a war memorial instead of the Autobot's secret base. From their conversations, it seems like Optimus Prime, Ultra Magnus, and Megatron were all students of Alpha Trion. And as we learn in this episode, Optimus was given the Matrix of Leadership, and Ultra Magnus was given the Alpha Trion protocols by him. So, did Megatron not get anything? Is that why he started the war? He was mad that he didn't get anything for Christmas. I guess he was on Alpha Trion's naughty list. I like how Laserbeak is just kind of hanging out, and then Soundwave orders him like in G1. He's such a cute little bird bot. I don't know. Maybe it's because I recently reviewed the Rescue Bots Academy episode, More Than Meets the Eye, but Laserbeak seems to be getting some love lately. When Starscream arrives to tell Megatron of Jetfire's betrayal, we see him accompanied by, who I'm assuming is Acid Storm and Thundercracker. But wait, didn't we already see Thundercracker with Megatron's party? This must actually be Ion Storm. Again, I really wish that these Seekers were more distinct from one another. I do, however, like this line from Starscream.
Starscream, you are supposed to be on patrol.
And you're supposed to be a Decepticon.
When Megatron says,
Finish him.
I can't help but feel it should be followed by the Mortal Kombat theme song. When are we going to get a Transformers collaborative crossover with that franchise? I mean, we already have Street Fighter Transformers, so why not Mortal Kombat Transformers too? Now that I've seen more of The Mandalorian, I kind of like how Jetfire has these missiles that come out of his back and then curve around to the front. I used to think that it was kind of lame. You know, like why didn't he just have them mounted on his arms or something? But now they kind of remind me of Mando's Whistling Birds weapon. Maybe they still would be better mounted on his arms. Speaking of Star Wars, when the Seekers are chasing after Jetfire, we briefly get a good shot of this one, whose coloring kind of reminds me of Poe's X-Wing. Although I think they're supposed to be more of a black and red as opposed to black and orange. But still, that's what they reminded me of. Which begs another question. When are we getting a new line of Star Wars Transformers crossover figures? That would be nuts. Aw man, I'd buy the heck out of a Razor Crest Transformer that turned into the Mandalorian. Maybe he could come with a little baby Yoda minicon that's basically the child in his little carriage pod thing, and you transform him just by opening it. That would be so awesome and cute. When Bumblebee is grappling with all the data he's received from the Alpha Trion protocols, he mentions how they're all just fragments. I think this is supposed to be a reference to how Transformers sparks are all just fragments of Primus's own spark. And when they join the Matrix or the Allspark, depending on the continuity and what they call the Transformers version of the afterlife, they're really just returning back to Primus. Again, I wish they talked more about this kind of stuff in the show instead. In the previous episode, we saw Mirage and Impactor fighting, but in this one they seem to be getting along. These two were most likely paired up and featured in this show because they were the winners of the Hasbro fan vote, and they got their own Amazon exclusive 2-pack. Or technically a 3-pack since it also includes Aragon, and Mirage actually has his toy head, and he's done in his translucent blue invisibility color scheme, even though he doesn't turn invisible in this show. And Impactor has his more IDW style head, rather than the one that he has in the show, which is like his regular release. Man, this is a confusing set. But it makes me wonder, what would this show be like if one of the other Versus pairs won instead? We also had Wheeljack versus Spinister, who actually did end up receiving their own toys as well. But we never see the two of them interact in this show. And the other two were Needlenose versus Trax, but neither of them have yet to receive new figures in either Siege or even Earthrise. I guess they must have got the least votes.
We blew that traitor out of the sky!
And attention, Seeker.
Wait, isn't that Thundercracker? I don't even know anymore.
Most inferior.
I love Barricade's Soundwave and Shockwave's expressions after Starscream gets promoted to the commander of the Seekers. I gotta remember to use that more in my other video reviews. When Optimus says how he started the war when he chose to oppose Megatron, I really thought there should have been a flashback scene inserted here. In fact, it feels like this whole chapter could have seriously been helped if they just scattered a few flashbacks to before the war to help explain and give some backstory to this entire conflict. What was Megatron, Optimus Prime, Ultra Magnus, and Alpha Trine's relationship with each other? Who were they originally fighting against? And why did Megatron turn evil? Maybe we'll find out in Earthrise, but I somehow doubt it.
Hello there. You must be Bumblebee.
I don't know why, but there's something cute about the way that Alpha Trion says Bumblebee.
Bumblebee.
Bumblebee! And we end this episode with my boy Jetfire finally coming over to the Autobot side.
I'm not here to fight. I'm here to join you.
Again, like the last episode, I think that this episode was a little better than the first two. We saw some hints of backstory, but I wish they showed us more. I really want to see what Cybertron was like before the war between the Autobots and Decepticons. Which, honestly, I think is probably what this show should have been about, instead of it just being the last days of the war on Cybertron before going out into space. What about you? What did you think of the 4th episode of the War for Cybertron trilogy? Let me know down in the comments. Remember to like, subscribe, and do all that other fun stuff. And I'll see you back here soon for the 5th episode of Transformers War for Cybertron Siege.